Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the peripatetic one, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how-to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show. Hello, insiders. It has been a while, but it is not without good reason. I missed you all, and I will give you a full update in my next show about what has happened or what has transpired over the past month. Anyway, today I have a really informative show for you with a very special guest, a man who will be able to give you some inside tips about moving to Japan and what employers there are looking for. So just continue doing what you are and get ready for an informative show. Chris, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself to the insiders.
Hello, insiders. Hello, Ryan. Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Chris, and I'm middle management at an Eikaiwa in Japan.
Okay, excellent. So you're in Japan right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, where in Japan are you?
I'm in the best place in Japan called Sendai.
Okay. And what makes Sendai the best place in Japan?
Well, the people in Sendai are very calm, helpful, and they're just filled with love. Right?
Okay.
There's never a dull moment in Sendai as well.
Okay, I mean, hopefully you'll tell us more about that as we proceed. So, Chris, just give me a little background information about you. I mean, where did you go to school? What did you study?
Well, I went to the UWI, University of the West Indies, Mona campus in Kingston, Jamaica. There I studied marketing and tourism.
Okay, did you enjoy it?
It's a pretty interesting course. When marketing there, you get an insight on how different customers respond in the western side of the world. However, here in Japan, it's a bit different.
Okay.
So it's like relearning the process all over again.
Okay, all right. But I'm sure it helped you somewhat to adjust to Japan. How was that? Why did you move to Japan?
Well, initially, a friend of mine was in Japan, and I was working in the bank back home, and I wanted to do something else. My friend said, "Hey, Chris, you should come to Japan. You should come and experience the culture." And try working here and see how you'd like it. And it was supposed to be for a year, but I'm still here 5 years later.
Wow, I guess something really lovely or something has really caught your interest there. Usually I interview quite a number of persons in Japan because being able as an English speaker, I think it's one of the easier transitions right now in the world. And I try to interview and speak to as many persons as possible who is in that situation because the show is really there or really here to help persons who are looking for a way to move forward in life, but they're unable to see it for themselves. So I try to point that out. So what has kept you there? I mean, because,
Well, I think perseverance
yes.
is what I'll touch on a bit.
So hold on. So let me dial back a bit then. Because you're saying perseverance. So was it hard to get adjusted?
Yes, so that's why I said perseverance. So in the beginning, Right. When I just came to Japan, I was told that, things are much are easy in Japan. It's easy to adjust in Japan because you'll have people around who can speak English, and whatever you need to get done, you'll be able to get it done easily. So that's how Japan was sold to me. So Silly Chris didn't prepare much in terms of language wise. And I'll say silly because when you're coming to a country, there are some minor things you need to know little about the culture. Do your research. So when I came here, there was a language barrier, one. And the processes, the length of time it took to get things done was a problem. But the language was the biggest one of all. So it was a bit stressful. You will lose your independence, and you lose your independence, and then there's two things that will happen. You'll either stay or you'll go quickly. Where perseverance came in is that if I gave up within a year, I would have lost.
Okay.
And I decided that I'm going to push through and just look at it as another challenge in life.
When you say you would have lost, are you talking overall or mostly financially?
Not financially. It would have been personal in terms of giving up too quickly. Okay. So I didn't want to travel so far to give up just because of a language barrier. Okay. So I decided to learn a bit more about the culture, observe, and as I looked on, I was able to readjust a bit without losing who I am, but understanding better how to relate and communicate to the persons within my community.
Okay. So, in addition to the language, what other culture shock was there for
you? Interesting. Culture shock. That's a good one. Let me think.
Anything that surprised you, like just something that surprised you.
Surprises. Well, going to the bank for one.
Yes.
Would have been like opening an account and the length of time it would take to open an account. That tedious task, that it got me a bit wondering, like, is everything else going to be this hard? And then, so that would be like the bad parts of Japan. The good parts, though, is when you go to a restaurant or a supermarket, the convenience store, you'll get excellent customer service, what Japanese people call omotenashi. The sweet services given by the Japanese staff.
Okay, so you're saying the customer service is really good there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yes, I've heard that before many times on the show, so I guess it is definitely true. Okay, nice. So, what steps did you take to get adjusted? Because, there are persons listening to the show now who will definitely get the opportunity to live in Japan. And could you just give us like an outline of how you adjusted? So for example, how did you fix that language barrier problem?
Well, before I get to the language barrier problem, when I came here, of course, you have to speak to people to get things done, right? Same as your country. So I realized that the way I spoke was too difficult my language was too difficult for them to understand. And then I had to become more expressive. So if I didn't know a word, I had to describe whatever product I needed. And in doing so, I had to use a lot of gestures. So that helped. That's me getting outside of my comfort zone. Then I started listening to the conversations and looking at how people responded to each other, right? Like the tilting of the head when persons are less inclined to doing something, or someone just simply taking you somewhere because it's difficult to explain to you what is it you should be doing, and just listening how they handle themselves and the words they use, you eventually pick up on the language part. And that's how I adjusted with the language. But remaining humble as well is also very important, because the culture doesn't appreciate someone of an aggressive nature.
Okay. So you went over as a teacher, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Was it difficult? Was the process difficult or easy to get that job as a teacher moving from Jamaica?
Well, it was not difficult. I did a Skype interview and I completed like some grammar tests and I sent those in. Then we communicated via email on what's the next step, and somebody actually came to Jamaica and we did the interview there. A group of us did the interview there, and in about, say, 3 to 4 months, I was in Japan doing 2 weeks training to become a teacher.
Okay, excellent. Okay, nice. So that process wasn't too long at all.
It wasn't long and it wasn't tedious.
Okay,
it wasn't
good.
a hard process.
Okay, excellent. So, is this opportunity still open to persons in the Caribbean who are searching for jobs, or not just the Caribbean, but all over the world, basically?
It is open to persons who are looking jobs, but unfortunately, they do not go to Jamaica anymore. You'll have to do the interview from America or the UK, or Canada.
Are you privy to the information to why this is the case?
Well, it had to do with new government regulations in Jamaica as it relates to recruitment. But I'm not 100% sure of the regulations that are currently there now, so I can't speak too much to it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So now you're in middle management, right?
Yes.
What's the process like moving from teacher to middle management? Is it difficult to get a promotion in Japan?
In Japan, for foreigners, it's a challenging task to actually move to the next level. So first, middle management positions aren't that many. There are a few here. But in Japan, I think for the most part, they look for hardworking people. But the main thing is, can they work with you?
All
right. Yes. So,
will you play ball?
If you're bullish in your approach to getting things done, you're less likely to move forward. But if you're able to sit and have a discussion, if you're patient and kind in your approach to dealing with things, then you're more likely to be promoted.
Okay. Nice. So you just have to be able to play ball.
Yes, you have to be able to play ball. You you're also dealing with people from different cultures, right? Different countries.
Yes.
So you're not only dealing with Japanese stuff, you're dealing with people from the UK, America, Australia, Ghana, you name it. We're interacting with these people on a daily basis. So
Okay.
even though for the foreign staff, even though we're using the English language, there are a lot of things that can be misunderstood. Right? The popular one for me is using the word hush. In Jamaica, hush means, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But in other cultures, hush means to be quiet.
Yeah.
And it can be disrespectful. So, like, understanding the people around you is very important. And then most of your managers or persons who are of a higher rank are Japanese people. So you have to know how to communicate with them.
Okay. Good.
So those are some of the things they take into consideration for a person to move to the next level.
Okay. What is the company looking for in a worker, like someone, a teacher, someone who wants to teach? How can they enhance their chances of getting a job? What is the company looking for?
Well, first you'll have to have a degree, bachelor's degree.
Yes.
And during the training process, during the interview process, they're not only looking for the academics. How well can you deal with people? How good are you with speaking with people? They're looking at your body language. They're looking at your posture. They're listening to your speech. Is your speech aggressive? Is your disposition aggressive? Right? So basically, they need someone who is kind in their approach.
Yes.
Someone who is understanding. So they mainly look for the soft skills.
Okay.
When hiring.
Oh, so it's not just about your ability to teach and to regurgitate or to remember stuff in the classroom. It's more about your approach and your kindness with how you put forward the material.
Yes, so I had mentioned earlier in the interview about what I studied in school, marketing and tourism.
Yes.
And how what you experience in Japan is different from the West. Now, in Japan, customer service is king. Right? It's the main thing in Japan.
Yes.
And from my observation, it's not how good you are at something. It's the effort that you put in.
Okay.
Right? So they look for effort. They look for how respectful you are. And they look for how patient you are. Right?
Oh.
So from time to time, you'll see like persons who work in a convenience store or wherever you go in Japan. They're running to get whatever you need as a customer. And that is to show that, look, they're putting out extra effort to make you happy. Now,
yes.
as foreigners, the same isn't expected of us.
Yes.
However, when we deal with the customer, it is expected that we speak to them in a manner that isn't disrespectful. Now, if you don't speak good Japanese, and but you're able to get some words out,
yes,
they're appreciative of it because it means that you're trying to speak to them, right?
Okay. Yes.
So those are some of the things that that will help you to get by in Japan. And in all honesty, like being a good customer rep is actually the basic requirement of being a good customer service rep is to have good manners and patience.
Yes. That is true.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I like that. So, I mean, the opportunity is there, insiders, but you have to have the right attitude. It's all about having the right attitude. It's not just about what you know or what you can show, but it's about being caring and also understanding in order to move into the situation. Okay, Chris. So, what about social life? In Japan, do you have a social life there?
So most foreigners when we get here, just to get some level of interaction, the easiest place is actually the pub.
Yes.
All right. For myself, yes, that's how I started meeting people, and then after a while, I was able to find like a gym, and from the gym, I met people who played soccer or football. It depends on wherever you're from, right?
That's right. As I say, it's an international situation, so the listeners understand.
Yeah, so that's how my social life is. Mainly gym, working out, and playing football. From time to time, I'll grab a drink with a friend, of course, but there are a lot of things to do in Japan. So when foreigners come, I want them to go and explore, like go sightseeing, see the temples, like if it's winter, go skiing.
Okay. And what about travel opportunities? Thank you. What about travel opportunities to other countries? I mean, is it possible to, let's say, go to another country in Asia?
It's actually pretty easy. And based on where Japan is located, it can be a bit cheap as well.
Have you taken up this opportunity?
Yes, I have. I've been to the Philippines and Bali.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Indonesia.
Yes.
Wow. Which did you enjoy the most?
The Philippines.
Oh, really?
Just
Why?
like home. It's just like home.
Okay, I get.
Just the energy, what we in Jamaica would call the vibes.
Yes.
Very chill, very relaxed. And, you can just talk to the people naturally.
Okay.
When you're in the Philippines.
So what about Bali? What's Bali like? I've never been to those. I've been to the Philippines, but not Bali. What's Bali like?
It's Bali. I went there. It's hot.
Okay.
It's hot.
Hotter than Jamaica?
Yeah. It's hotter than Jamaica.
Wow.
Like the food is good. Food is spicy. I didn't really enjoy the beach, but the people there were nice as well.
Okay. All right, nice. Thank you. All right. So if a friend told you that they were planning to move to Japan, what would you say to them?
I would say do your research. Come with an open mind. When you get here, be patient.
Okay.
And Japan will open its arms to you.
Okay. And regarding the language, because we didn't really get into it. Any quick tips for persons who want to learn the language?
To learn the language,
yes. What was your process? What was your process?
My process was basically listening and catching on to like little words. I learned like question starters. But
Okay.
interesting enough, when you get here, you ask the questions, but when you get the answer, you're like, oh, I didn't study the possible answers that I should be getting. So, that throws you off. And then, but for the most part, I listened and I looked at how they gesticulate.
Yes.
And I think that was it for me. And after a while, every now and then I'll pick up a book or two,
Yes.
but mostly listening. I find that when you listen and learn, it's better because you're now understanding how the people express themselves. There is book Japanese and there is
Real life.
Japanese, real life Japanese. Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood. Thank you for that. I'm sure that tip will help many of the listeners. Okay, Chris, so we're at the end, but let's just play a word association game before you leave. So first, you just tell me what comes to mind. One word is okay, or a short sentence is okay. When I say life.
Life, enjoy it.
Okay, I say travel.
Travel?
Yes, travel.
Japan.
Future.
Live, love, and enjoy the people that are around you. Enjoy being with the people who are around you.
And the last
Right?
one, nice. And the last one is Instagram.
Instagram. I'd like to be introduced to it.
That was very good, Chris. Well, thanks for coming on the show. How can people reach you if they would like to continue the conversation with you?
Well, you can reach me at Chris, CHRISGIHAYDEN at gmail.com.
Okay, one more time, please.
CHRISGIHAYDEN at gmail.com.
Okay, excellent, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. And before I go, for persons coming to Japan to work,
yes,
or even just for sightseeing, like, be kind. Like, it's a part of the culture. And be patient. And you will get to experience the best parts of Japan by just using those two principles. Thank you.
Thank you. Be patient and be kind. Be respectful. Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for listening today. I hope you are inspired. You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram. See you next time, but remember, you can be your own superhero. Bye.